is up, everyone? It is tea time with Robyn. We are back. Go check us out on the Build in Buffalo Network. Some amazing content over there Monday through Sunday. We drop on Friday, but we go live on Thursday. So you can get this in podcast form. I don't know. I think I'm live. Anyway, doesn't matter if it is. Oh, God. Wait. I did not want this to be live today. So can I edit? Maybe I can. Oh, yeah. No, we're good. Okay. We're just live on YouTube. So
YouTube.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? But again, go over there and subscribe to the channel. Hit the link on the bottom and get notifications when we do go live. But what's up, Robyn? How you doing?
I am ready to roll here, girl. We have a lot to discuss.
We do. And speaking of disgust.
Discuss?
You know, right? Discussion or disgust. Listen, I don't know what that was, but they didn't respect this defense. They went for it on fourth down. It was 5 yards. It's December football, and this is what you expect, right? You expect teams to come at the Buffalo Bills. You expect the Buffalo Bills to be ready. I don't know what happened. I don't know. You have to respect the Rams, right? You have to. They were healthy. They came in. Balls are glaring. Balls are ready to go. And the Bills were not prepared. They were not prepared. And I don't want to say that the trip from Buffalo to LA, jet lag. I'm not using those excuses. I mean, as fans, we can, but they won't use it. They were just flat as hell. And I don't know. I don't want to say it was you got the win, you got the division, and you was like you put your foot off the gas. And I don't think that's what happened at all. I don't. So what do you think, Robyn? What do you think happened? Oof. And we're going to get into some stuff, but yeah,
we're going to get into some stuff because I think there's a lot of stuff that happened. There's a lot of stuff that happened in that game, most of which was not good. Maybe there were a few things that we could take away from it as fans, but also they can take away from this game and learn where clearly there are some deficiencies in this defense. And we're live.
Yeah, we are. I did not want to be live. Why don't you? I didn't want to be live today on Facebook.
I don't care.
We're good.
Let's be live. She's not going to let us be live.
No, I'm not.
I'm just going to wait here until she decides.
You're good. Go ahead.
I can. All right. So in my thinking about this game, obviously all of us felt like, what happened to the defense? Why did the defense collapse? And why, after halftime, were there no adjustments that seemed to make any difference? Because that's a first this year, I think, with Bobby Babich. Most of the time, he can get wiped out in the first half and come back with adjustments and very often win the game.
Yes.
And how many times do you score 42 points and lose? The game was weird in so many ways, but you asked me what I think happened. I think what happened was Sean McVay happened.
Yes. I think people forgot that Sean McVay is that guy.
He is a fabulous coach. And I remember, I haven't forgotten this, when I think the first time, might have been the first time, but pretty sure it was, the first time that the Rams and Sean McVay played against Sean McDermott. If I'm not mistaken, that game, the Bills won. And I do remember a comment that McVay made after the game when he went to talk to McDermott, you know how they talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even remember who said this, but I remember a comment being made that he said something to the effect to Sean McDermott, that'll never happen again.
Ooh-wee. That's nasty.
So, yeah, I mean, you could tell that he was pissed that the Bills had beat the Rams, and
Right.
I think he holds a lot of pride in going after McDermott. So, that's just, probably nothing personal, just a
Yeah.
friendly rivalry or whatever, but I think that there is a rivalry between them, personally.
Yeah.
And so because coaches, they're human beings, right? I'm sure that there's coaches they enjoy playing against and there's coaches they don't.
Yes.
And so what? But Sean McVay is you pointed it out. People forgot, because the last couple of years the Rams have been kind of up and down and volatile, and mostly because they've had significant injuries and they don't have depth because they have to pay their big time players all this money, something that Buffalo can relate to as well.
Hmm.
And so they don't have the same level of depth, in my opinion, that the Bills do. But boy, they came out, and in terms of execution,
Oh yeah.
they executed perfectly, and the Bills did not.
Yeah.
Except for, well, Josh Allen did, but not
I
the
mean,
rest of the team didn't show up.
yeah, the offense is the
So
only.
that's what I think happened.
I mean, we'll get into it. The offense was the only one that kind of showed up. But anyway, because I could tell you what didn't happen. The defense decided to, and we could say this as fans. I mean, don't take it personal, guys. And Bobby Babbage also to kind of put them on notice as well. The defense didn't show up. They had no answers. Gregory Rousseau, if you want to be the name, if you want to be the guy, you got to show up in those moments. And we had no pass rush at all.
None.
Matthew Stafford looked like he was a legit, like a top 5 quarterback
He
out
looked
there.
like Tom Brady.
I'm like,
I mean, he was out there just killing it. Every pass,
they
you could
didn't
see it
move
all
him off
day.
his position.
Exactly. Exactly. And we will get into this more because I have issues. Man, I got issues with the defensive line. I got big, big, big issues with the defensive line, and we'll get into that. So that's what I think happened.
Yeah, I mean, Gregory Rousseau was picked apart in this game,
Yes, he
Robyn.
was.
I
He
mean,
was.
if you have no pass rush, if you don't have any pressure on the quarterback, your cornerbacks, your linebackers, they're all gonna get eaten up, and that's what happened. And it was just like, we are definitely a second half team. We make the adjustments, and you would think in the second half things will improve. I mean, they kind of did. I won't say that Bobby Babbage and Sean
Yeah,
McDermott
we were
didn't.
down 17 points at one point.
Right,
So,
right.
I get
And I
it.
and I will blame myself because every time my son has a tournament on these days, and they do it on the days that the Buffalo Bills are either away or have a bye, right? So I kind of knew this game. I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those games because I'm not at home. I'm at the facility, at the Buffalo Bills facility, and I'm just like, this is trash. It happened last year too. They lost it. They lost that game as well. And I'm just like, okay, I'll take the blame. Take the
That
blame because I was just like, I'm not in my element. They're not in their element, and we're just going to lose this game. But the crazy part about it, they could have won. But before we get into all of that, they could have still won the game.
They could have won the game. And again, we're going to go back to mistakes made with clock management and those kind of issues that just keep cropping up and don't seem to be getting resolved. And that's very concerning to me as we go into the playoffs this year. Burf.
Yeah, yeah. They couldn't run the ball. And I know people are saying because they got behind so fast, but they really didn't get behind so fast. They didn't even try to establish, quote unquote, the run, because I don't know if they panicked or just was like, we're done with it.
That may be part of it because the way the game unfolded, as you pointed out. But I also think in some matchups, and this is one of them, it may be time to look at, instead of starting out with this, they do the same thing, right? We start out with James Cook, then we go to Ray Davis, then we have sprinkle in some Ty Johnson
Mm-hmm.
here and there, and that's our running game. Well, against teams that are more aggressive, and oh, by the way, you can better believe that what they saw in Los Angeles, they will see again in Detroit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, they're going to
The
see this.
copycat lead.
They're going to see this stuff all over again because the Rams gave them the blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
But my point about the running game is, why do we always have to start with James Cook? Why do we always have to do that? Why
I get
can't
what
we
you're
start with
saying.
Why can't we start with Ty Johnson? If you don't think Ray Davis, and maybe because he's a rookie and he's learning how to block and that sort of thing, Ty Johnson is a good blocker. Why don't we, in games where the matchup might favor it, you start running Ty Johnson instead of James Cook? James Cook, as strong as he's tried to make himself this year, he's still little.
Mm-hmm.
He's still not a power guy. And Ty Johnson is. And Ty Johnson has shown that he can catch the ball,
He
he
can
can
block.
run, he can block. He does all of that. So please tell me why we always have to start the game with James Cook. At this point in the season, it might behoove them to think about cutting back on James Cook's reps so that he can be ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
that's the other thing. He may be starting to hit a wall and get tired. I mean, the guy's run his ass off this year.
I mean, good point. Very, very good point. I mean, I definitely like, and I get people. There's a community in Bills Mafia to where they want Ray Davis to be the number one back, and I'm not there yet. I like Ray as
He's a rookie. You got to
he's
let
a.
him go.
I don't think he's there yet. First of all, I don't think he's a good blocker. First of all,
Right.
and that will come because he's a rookie. I don't think he has the vision yet. Also, too, that will come as well. I think
Yes.
if anything, like you said, you could put Ty Johnson in there, and then maybe a Ray Davis, because, like you said, save James Cook for the playoffs.
Rest him a bit.
Yeah,
You don't need to sit him, but how about
right.
giving him 10 to 15 snaps a game instead of 30?
And you can
So,
explain to James Cook what is going on. It's not that you're being set because you're in timeout. I'm just trying to save you for the ladder of when it comes to the playoffs, because we're gonna need you. Because a rookie, it's a different step when you get into the playoffs. It's different.
level. He doesn't
Yes.
know, he doesn't know what to expect yet. But
Right.
yes, he's going to be very, very good.
What's up,
But
Sandra? Thank you.
I
I messed up, Sandra. My bad. Thank you.
just crazy that we start, and it's the same thing all the time. At the beginning of the game, hand off to James Cook. That's the first play of the game for every game. Do. Okay, could we do something creative?
Yeah.
I don't like, it's not that I dislike at all how Brady calls offense. I love him. I think he's very good at being able to mix the run game and the pass game, and now the screen game's coming to life. I mean, all of that is wonderful, Joe Brady. But can we please have a little bit more creativity with the run game?
I had a bone to pick with Joe Brady, but we can do it a little later because I just thought, I don't know, yo. I mean, bone to pick with Joe Brady, bone to pick with Bobby Babbage. Whoa, what was that?
Baby Babbage.
I know, right? Yeah, because that game was, yeah. Anyway,
okay,
let's move on because I have a bone to pick with the special teams. Robyn, what is going on?
We need a new coach. I don't think that this special teams coordinator should survive the season. I don't. I think it's time for a change. When they changed the rules, it's changed everything in terms of how players play special teams now.
Yeah.
And I just don't see any creativity. I'm not seeing consistency, and the mistakes. You can better believe the other thing that we're going to see this week, somebody's going to try to block another punt.
I
It's going to happen. Trust me.
We've all said the last 2 years or maybe a year, I'll say two, everybody has said Sam Martin has a slow release. Slow release. Everybody has said it. I've heard it on One Bills Live. I've heard it. Sal said it. We've heard it. And that game showed just how slow his release is. Like, but with all of that, right? And we've praised special teams just maybe last week. Mm-hmm. We've given them flowers because I think they don't get enough shine. And then when I give them shine, the next game you in the toilet.
They're very inconsistent.
Yes.
And I think it's time for a change in the coaching arena.
And I don't want it to happen now because it's
no. I don't mean like
one of those. Yeah, it would be one of those something that the Jets did because you just need a knee-jerk reaction to where we don't need it to happen right now.
No, and a knee-jerk reaction usually doesn't end up well anyway.
Right.
But I think it's time to consider bringing in a different mindset to special teams. And maybe in part because it isn't the same as it was when Smiley was hired as the special teams.
Yeah, right.
The rules have changed so much. So maybe somebody with a creative mind about this is what we should try as a scheme as special teams. And you're right about, I think, about Sam Martin. And it's concerning. I don't know how you change any of that because those guys are so set. It's like, this is what I do. This is how I do it.
But when he's good, Robyn, when he's on, he is on.
Very good.
He's on.
So do we change the special team scheme so that it can protect him so he has more time? I mean, I don't know. I
don't know. I know. I'm with you. I'm just throwing at the wall at this point. But I'll say this. Again, like also too, it came out with Sean's presser that he wanted they didn't want him to Condrington back there. They wanted him to return that ball and he didn't. Like, why wouldn't you? Another miscommunication.
Exactly.
Like, what do we do? This game. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, it was. I know what you're going to say. This game was like a accumulation of a whole lot of crap that just came out in one game. And think about it. Most seasons, a team will have a game like that. They will have a game where they just crap the bed. They just cannot get it done. They look terrible. And this was that game. The problem is now they have to play Detroit.
Yeah. This game was like the 13 seconds because it was a high-scoring game going back and forth. And then it was like the Denver game because it was all the miscommunication. It was like 2 games and freaking 1. It was just
a mess.
It was freaking a mess. And let's talk about it. The time of possession.
Right.
Going into the second half of that game, they had like maybe 10 more minutes than with the Buffalo Bills. They won because they kept Josh Allen off the field in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
The defense didn't help at all.
Did not.
They kicked twice through this whole game.
And the time of possession issue that sticks out to me the most is that when you don't have an effective run game, that's where you get into issues with time of possession because it's the running game that allows you to run the clock down.
It allows you to control that game.
And we did not have control of that game at any given point in time. There was no control. There was issues in they caught up. Mm-hmm. They caught up, but they couldn't move ahead. They couldn't take control. And they never had control.
Yeah.
They never had control during that game. And the time of possession issue, in my mind, often when you look at the stats and you see, oh, Josh threw for like what, over 400 yards?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know that the time of possession is going to be an issue then.
I'm trying to see the time of possession. Oh my God. Oh my, I didn't know it was like that. Ours was 1290.
Ew.
Theirs was 2310. Almost double. No, they doubled. Almost doubled. Are you freaking kidding me? But on the bright end of that, they almost still won the game.
Exactly.
They just ran out of time.
They did. It was just one of those games where the last person with the ball wins.
Sandra said the defense missed
They
their.
They did. They
did.
absolutely did.
They absolutely freaking did. I didn't even go back and look at the time position. And normally I go back and watch the game. I have not gone back and watched the game because I
couldn't. I had enough of it.
It's one of those games where you're just like, no, I'm good.
Flush it.
Yeah. It's like I flushed the Kansas City game. Not watched that game. It's flushed. And I'm going to have to flush this game, even though
there were lots of good things about it.
I know, but I can't even go back to watch it because I'm like, I know it's just, yeah, but it's time, Robyn. I think it's time, and I'm not prepared for the time, but it is time. I gotta find the banner. Oh my God, it's time, guys. It's time.
For me, come on, just spill that. Come on, just spill that. Spill that tea for me. Spill no dirty tea. Yeah, tell me everything. Come on, just spill that.
We are spilling the tea because we have a lot. We have a lot of tea. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Oh no, I could go first because you don't. Okay. I don't think you even know what I'm spilling.
No, I don't. It's a big secret.
Well, here's the thing: you're going to love this because it's a repeat.
Okay.
And a repeat, and a repeat. And what is while repeating today? I am going to go back on my hill that I plan to die on. I want you to all know I will die on this hill.
Okay. She's dying on the hill.
Get a one technique defensive tackle in the next draft. In the first or second round, I'm going to lose my bananas.
She's going to lose it, guys.
This game stood out to me. And I'm spilling the tea about it because I've been begging, pleading 5 years. Go back on any of my posts for the last 5 years on Twitter. What has Robyn Mundy said that she wants on the draft? I want a one technique defensive tackle. Have we gotten one in the last 5 years? No, we haven't. We get Ed Oliver. God bless you, Ed Oliver. You had a heck of a season last year, but this year you look like dog doo-doo.
Oh,
and
wow.
He does. He's not well at all. And that does not help. But at that year, I thought to myself, well, isn't that nice? We're getting ourselves a first rounder, a defensive tackle, but he's too small to be a one technique.
Can I shoot him some bail?
Yes.
I think it's the person beside him.
Oh, you think Daquan?
Yes, I think it's the person beside him that's not helping out Ed. So
I have to look at that.
Daquan, because Ed's getting double teamed, right? And when you're being double teamed, you would think the guy next to you can win his one-on-one,
and he's not.
So I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna shoot him some bail. So
I think that's good, and that's fair bail, and totally fair because Ed's always been the kind of player that if he has the right guy beside him, he's good.
Remember, he was with Tula. What's his name? Tula. Oh my God, Star Tula.
Star Tula.
Thank you. And he had a good season.
He did.
When he went out with COVID, or not with COVID, decided to take that COVID year. Ed Oliver play went down. He came back.
That's true.
Ed was playing, whatever. Ed needs someone over there.
Bigger.
Yes, I would say bigger too, but
Bigger. One
I don't.
technique,
I
a
don't.
true one technique.
Yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to do that because you know what you know how they draft. You know how they draft. You wanted Davis. Davis can move too.
Yes.
Didn't think that they would go and get him. They didn't go and get. They definitely have to address the interior
Of the defensive line.
defensive. Yes, they have to.
They absolutely have to, because what they've done and tried to do over the years is they'll put the money on the ends
Yes.
on Miller, but the interior of the defensive line has been filled with, and I don't mean this with any disrespect, but very mediocre players.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to draft a one technique defensive tackle. That
And
is,
we don't. And we don't need
die
to.
on this
Yeah.
hill.
To disrespect anyone. We don't. We just know we've seen enough to say in that area of that position, we need bigger and we need stronger in that position next to Ed. If you want Ed to perform at his peak, you're going to have to help him out because he's already undersized.
Yes.
He's already undersized and he's getting double teamed. So you're going to have to help him out. But I like that spill the tea. My spill the tea, and I think that people might think that I am a Sean McDermott stance. I am not. But when I see the whole time people with closed mouth saying nothing good about Sean McDermott, and soon as something happens, see, told you, Sean McDermott he's under pressure, he's not good. When it comes down to clock managing, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'll say on that 4th and 5 or 4th and 2, the 4th and 2, I'll give it to you. I think they should have went for it. I think you have a freaking elite quarterback out there who has been getting you first downs on a regular, and you say, "No, Josh, not this time." Josh was even freaking furious. You can see it. Mm-hmm. But that 4th and 5, and he took the whatever. People are just shitting bricks over. The Rams were going to go for it regardless. Did not respect the Buffalo Bills defense. They didn't.
Why should they?
Why? You haven't stopped them. Well, I'll give it to Benford. Benford had a great play. Benford. He's about the only one who showed up. Anyway, but I want to just say this. We got to put some smut on freaking, and I'm sorry, Joe Brady. Towards the end of the game, I'll just say this: why are we calling for Sean McDermott's head when offense is Joe Brady? Huh? I mean, I know ultimately that the crown is very heavy on Sean McDermott. And again, I'm not a Sean McDermott stance. I'm just giving you a And then I know he gave the ring to Bobby, and now ultimately again, Sean McDermott. Right? So I get it because he's the head coach and everything lies on the head coach. But if you're going to give it to Sean, you better give some to Joe Brady, and you better give some to Bobby Babbage. Spread it around, people. Spread it around. And I know he's a head coach, but I'm just saying spread that hate around to some of these other coordinators as well. That's all I got.
I got you. Girl. I'm with you. Bravo.
But I want to say a positive from that, though. We had a screenplay, Robyn. We had a successful screenplay by Ty Johnson, who took it to the house.
Oh, a screenplay. And can we possibly see some more of this? And like I said, let's do this. We do a little bit more creative stuff, right? Yeah. Yeah, Sandra's right about Shakir.
Hips don't lie.
He's got hips. Okay. Onward.
Yes, onward. So let's get into some
positives.
Positive. Josh freaking Allen.
This is So beautiful, isn't it?
It could have just been, if we would have won that game, the MVP would have just been like, okay, it's Josh. 6 freaking touchdowns, Rob. 6.
Wasted,
6.
which
And
is tragic.
I hear people saying that the Buffalo Bills are wasting Josh Allen and da 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 da. I get it, guys. I get what you're saying. I don't want to believe any of that. I just can't go down those rabbit holes of that. I just can't. I can't. Like, I get it. I get it. As Bills fans, it's been a minute since we've been in a position and having a freaking awesome quarterback. And then you're like, we're just wasting his freaking time. He's just wasting his valuable years. And I'm just like, I just can't go there with y'all. I can't.
No, because how many coaches have talked to Sam Darnold? You want to talk about somebody who had their career wasted? Look at what he's doing in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Finally, because he had the right support in place. Right. And Josh had the time and the right support. He was thrown in a little sooner than they planned for him to be thrown in, but it didn't seem to harm his development. And look at where he is today.
Right.
There's no way. I think these people that talk about this stuff are they're negative Nellies that just don't want to look at the positives of anything. I see too much of that where it's just, there are people out there. And if you're one of them, take a breath, please. Yeah. Try to look for something positive and don't always bring negativity every time that you post something on social media. It reverberates.
Yeah, it does. It does. You are so right. It's like, I really had to get off of, like, I try not to go on Twitter, X, whatever, right after, even a win or loss, because you could be like, we're running through the lilies, I try not, and then when we lose, oh my God, fire everybody. That's a roller coaster fan, and I used to be that, and now I'm never going to be it again, because I used to be so engulfed with when the Bills lose. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do that. I said, I don't have a horse in this race to where I can change anything. I'm a fan, and I want a fan responsible. So I just quit.
It's wise. It's very wise. I was with you for many, many, many years, many decades for that matter. But I came to the realization that honestly, for my physical health, I had to stop letting myself become so enmeshed and so engaged that I couldn't let go of it. When you're to the point, and this is the old book I'm getting out, but when the definition of a disorder is when it affects your social and occupational functioning. Yep. So if you're losing sleep, if it's affecting your relationships because you're crabby all the time, all those kind of things, if it's hitting you that hard, then you got to look at yourself.
Yeah.
And when you get older, you will realize that, I mean, I could get to the point where after a game, I literally felt exhausted, like physically exhausted, and realized that this isn't good. You know, I'm in my 60s. I'm headed towards 70. I don't have the energy anymore to do that. And so my thing was, as I got older, I realized I don't have this control. So I have to watch, experience it, and then let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And social media, the same way. I dip in, I dip out. But like you, I don't go on social media immediately after games. I just don't.
Yeah.
And lose.
I can't. Because there's just so many different, and especially when you're trying to do a podcast, an episode where you're kind of neutral, to where you don't want other people's opinions to distract your own. Right. I mean, I'll go on different podcasts just to listen to what some reasonable people have to say, right? And I'm not trying to disrespect no one, absolutely not. But as a fan, we tend to fan hard and fan one way or the other way. So ultimately I'm a fan, but also too I want to put my eggs in the basket and be all right to come on here and to share my opinion on how I feel about the game or about, players, whatever. But it's hard to do that sometimes, but I am being a better fan by not going on X right
Social
after.
media.
Yeah, for
Totally
sure.
agree with
Yeah.
you.
But we do have another game to talk about.
Yes.
Freaking Detroit. I had us losing this game in the beginning of the season. I didn't have us losing the Rams game, but I did have us losing this game. And I mean, I'm not too ashamed to say that. I just think that the Rams is a different freaking team. Like last year, they were a different team, even though they got 18 players that's on IR.
Are you talking about the Rams or Detroit?
I mean the Detroit. My bad. Detroit has 13 players that's injured, some on IR. But despite all of that, Robyn, they're still freaking winning. Still winning. Big. They are 12-1, right? Yeah, 12-1 right now.
Mm-hmm. Dan Campbell, I had them also losing this game early when I looked at the schedule. But here's the thing about Detroit. This game, if they thought the Rams game was something, you just wait and see what's coming. Because Detroit is a different animal.
They're on steroids.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. It doesn't matter who's injured. It doesn't matter who comes in. They all play the same way. And that is that when you wake up the next day, you can better be sure that every player is going to be bruised from stem to stern, because this game is going to be a physical fight. And my question will be, how much fight do we have? How much fight do we have? Because Detroit is going to throw every single thing at you, and they are going to be relentless.
Yes, they are. Just got a text. Oh my God, this Detroit team is a huge play action team.
Mm-hmm.
They have the weapons, man. They got the weapons. They got two talented running back. Wide receiver St. Brown, tight end Laporta. Like the offense is really freaking really good.
Ben Johnson,
offensive coordinator.
League.
Oh, God, I mean, some players, some fans want Sean McDermott fired so they can hire Ben Johnson. Like, this is where we're at. This is where we're at, Robyn. This team also likes to...
Even though the 7 out of the last 8 years we make the playoffs, they want him fired.
Yeah.
Do people, like, are these people less than, like, 10 years old or something? Because do people not remember the 17 years that we didn't make the playoffs?
Right. Yeah.
They
don't care.
But getting back to Detroit is brutal. The team is physically brutal. They will beat you up. I'm still resentful. I'll say it from now until eternity. I wanted their middle linebacker.
You did.
Campbell went all the way up into the middle of the first round to steal him away because he knew the Bills were going to draft him. And his name is Jack Campbell, by the way, if anybody cares. And Jack Campbell is a nightmare, along with everybody else on their defense.
Yes, he is. I mean, this team reminds me of Miami, but a steroids Miami. Like, their offense is a timing offense.
Mm-hmm.
Goff, you're going to have to. Our defense is going to have to show up. Period. Point blank. Because you cannot just let him. Yeah, you just can't let him just be back there picking you apart like you did Stafford. Like, you got to get some pressure on him, right? It's a timing offense, like 1, 2, 3, boom. Like, he gets the ball out fast. This is going to be a tough task, but
it's not an impossible one.
Right.
Let's face it, Detroit could have a game like the Bills did last week, where things just don't go right from the start and you just lose control of things all the way along. That could happen. Am I in my reasonable mind of thinking, is it going to happen? I would bet against it. I would bet that they're going to be ready to play because they know the Bills are a good team and they're going to want to flex. They're going to want to flex at home. And they got a lot they can flex with, right?
Yes.
Like you said, they got wide receivers, they got tight ends, they got running backs. They got a good offensive that team is solid from top to bottom.
It is. It is.
And it's deep.
It
Obviously.
is.
Because they're playing
Obviously,
at
it's
that
deep.
level
Yeah.
with all these people who are injured.
I don't know. Again, I had us losing this game. This game makes me nervous, even though, I mean, we got 4 games left. Even if we lose this game, we're still in a good spot, in a good spot. But I don't know. It's another tall task. It's another tall task. I wish we just would have won that Rams game, man. I really do. I will be in a better spot right now when it comes to this game. I would definitely feel better. Yeah.
It'll be like 2 losses in a row, like what happened earlier in the season.
Yeah. And it's December football and you want your team to be playing well in December because this is where you're going to tail end of it. It goes into the playoffs. You're playing your best football in December. And the hell with people saying that Buffalo Bills peaked. They haven't peaked. They haven't peaked. They're just playing. Right.
But they may not even peak this year. I mean, that sometimes teams just bumble their way through the whole year and never end up peaking.
Right.
But,
like the Chiefs.
Yeah, that could, that could happen. But I honestly believe that this game against Detroit is a marker for the Bills in terms of you will know where you are at with this team. After this game is over, you will know what the Buffalo Bills are.
Well, you have the number 1 offense going against the number 2 offense. So
bring it on.
Bring it on for sure. I mean, they're going to, if anything, if you're worried about anything, this offense will hang in there with the best of them. Our defense needs just to step up and get some stops. So we can feel encouraged about that on the offense. We can feel concerned about our defense. And hopefully, though, like Bobby Babbage said, it wasn't the standard. And hopefully they will get in there and see the film and see what happened and correct that, hopefully. So
I think if the Bills, and I'm just going to toss this out here, I think if the Bills can somehow manage to get 2 turnovers and be productive with those turnovers with either a field goal or preferably, obviously, a touchdown. But I think it will take 2 turnovers in order for them to have a chance to win this game. They're going to have to do it.
And they're going to have to, when the turnovers, like you said, they're going to have to do something with the turnovers. Just not have a turnover. You're going to have to do something with it.
Yep.
But before we get out of here, I just wanted to, you send me something and I just wanted to we want to give prayers to Randy Moss. It came out, Randy Moss and his family, it came out that he is battling liver cancer, right?
Yes. And oddly, I read afterwards yesterday that there was a denial from his family that he had cancer. This report that he had liver cancer came from a post that was made, I believe, on Instagram by Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Larry Fitzgerald's father who made this post about feeling bad for Randy because he had liver cancer in his family and so on and so forth. And there was a huge outcry because it hadn't been publicly announced that that was what was going on with Randy Moss. So I suspect it's probably true.
Right. But if it isn't true, we're still praying for Randy Moss because there is something going on and we just want to give some positive vibes to him. And if it's not true and if it came out,
whatever,
and whatever, but we here at Tea Time with Robyn just wanted to give some positive vibe to Randy because I mean he was amongst the NFL community, the Buffalo, the football community, he is the guy. So
Randy Moss will go down in history as one of the best ever to play.
Yes, For sure. But we're going to get out of here. We've been long in the tooth for a little bit, 45 minutes. But
Sorry.
you know, I love you. Thank you
Sorry,
always.
not sorry. How about that?
Right. Sorry, not sorry. Big
Stuff
task.
to say.
Yeah. Yes. Big task for the Bills this coming Sunday. Hopefully we come out with a win. I am praying that we do. I'm praying that the defense step up. But we're going to get out of here. Thank you, Robyn, for always showing up and giving us your takes on this crazy team that we have. We root for. Lord have mercy. But like always, guys, it's always go Bills.
Love you
Peace out,
guys.
y'all.